In this video, we're going to explore how to create an array in JavaScript. And this is really a JavaScript tutorial for beginners. And understanding what an array is the most important part, especially if you're planning to start to work with Chart.JS, where you will be using arrays to create a chart. So what is an array? An array is basically a value or a value itself which contains multiple values, or commonly known as an element. So let me show you exactly what it is, so it's probably more better if you see it. So let's say an example here. We have let's give it a color. For example, we have color. Color, if we say color, in color there are multiple colors within. So for example, we have blue, brown, black, green, red, etc., etc. And all these colors is basically an array. So within this is your array, and every value within is the element. And this, especially with values or numbers specifically for charts, will become very, very important in Chart.js. So how can we create an array? Well, creating an array is quite simple. If we type in here first const, and then we can put in here the array name. For example, we have here color, or let's say month. And once we define that, we can define the array. To create an array, by default, always use the bracket symbol. Within the bracket symbol, that is where you put in all the individual elements or data points or values, whatever you want to call it. So let's say here we have month, and then in our case, because we're using text, this is a string array, meaning that we have string values in here. That means that we're using single quotations to indicate the value. So if we have an array of two values like here right now, we can put in here, for example, the months January for Jan and February. If you put a space between here, that's no problem. So the array will instantly recognize these two values in here. And if I put a semicolon here at the end, and then we say here console.log, and we get the month or the constant variable for the array. We put it in here, and let's save this. You will see now, if you refresh this and open up our developer tab, and let's put it in normal design, you can see we have an array here. We get one message here, and this array consists of two values. It indicates the length, which is 2. It indicates as well what are the values and the order of them. Remember, an array works on zero-based counting, indicating that the first value is 0 instead of 1. So the first value in the element is January. The second value is February. So imagine we want to add up another element here. We can just put it in here, and we say March. Let's make sure that this is single quotation, and then we say March. There we are. If I refresh this and save that and refresh, you can see now we got 3 elements in our array, including March. March is number 2. So what we can do as well is, for example, sometimes you might want to only extract a single array value. So how can we do that? Well, we can just do exactly the same. Here's console.log, but then we indicate here the value we want to extract. Remember, this is the third value or the third element in here. That is number 2. So if you put in number 2 here, we save this. And then we refresh, you can see now we have a few items here. The array basic, and then we see here, probably it's hard to see. Let's see if I can just comment this out, refresh this. You can see now we have March only. So this is how you can make your array with basics, and you can even do this. For example, you have an array, but you are not sure what's the value, or you want to look through the array. You can say here, for example, this array has, I'm going to comment this out because that should be done. This one as well. Our array is blank. There's nothing in this array. And then we can gradually assign it to through looping or a for loop or a different option that you have. So if we would, for example, say here, we can say here month, and then we say month number 1 equals April, and then we can put in now our console log. We're going to show what we have here. Let's save this, refresh, and now you can see we get the April value being added on here. And we can put this more here as well. So we can, for example, add another one. As the first one here, you can see here April. Well, this will be the second element, which is number 1 here in the array, May. Let's save this, refresh, now you have this. So you can see we have this, we added these in specifically. So what happened now if, for example, we have this? We indicate this, we put it in here. So what do you think will happen if we indicate this and then we assign this here? What would happen? Will this be added at the end? Or will this specifically replace the value depending on which number they are? In this case, 0 would be this here. So basically it would be them here. It will replace it with January, and May, which is number 1, will be replaced with Feb. So let's save this and refresh, and you will see this now. As you can see now, while we did it first correctly with putting January, March, February, and March in here, these two are overruling the command. And now we have May replacing here and April replacing on the very first element. And this is how you can play with an array. And arrays are extremely important to understand. So if you have questions regarding to this, put them in the comment section below. And if you like videos and like to learn more about JavaScript and Chart.JS in particular, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to really explore Chart.JS, check out my Udemy course in the description box.